Hello and welcome to the Data Studio RStudio video module, which is a part of the 7 Bridges onboarding lesson. While watching this video, please keep in mind some key concepts. Data Studio on the CGC allows you to perform analyses directly where your data lives. Data Studio also allows you to save outputs of your analyses to your projects on the CGC. For this example, RStudio will be used as the computational environment. At the end of the video, you should be able to create a new Data Studio instance using the RStudio environment, import a file from your CGC project, and modify and save that file to your CGC project. For this video, I will demonstrate the following. 1. I'll navigate to Data Studio. 2. Create a new Data Studio instance using the RStudio environment. 3. Import a file from your CGC project. And 4. Modify and save that file to the CGC project. Before we begin, I'd like to provide some clarification. The file structure on the 7 Bridges platform looks like this. We have SB Genomics, and then from there we have output files, projects, and workspace. Project files is where your files are located and can be accessed from. However, this is read-only, not writable. Output files is write-only, not readable. So you can save files to this directory and they will show up in your files view. And lastly, workspace is the special directory created for interactive sessions. This is where you will save your markdown files. This directory is read and write, but files here are not accessible to apps. With that said, any files you want to interact with from your CGC project will be read in from project files. And any file you want to save back to your project for future interaction will be saved to output files. Both of these can be accessed from the Files tab using the GUI. See the main dashboard page for our Data Studio demonstration. If we navigate to the Files tab, you can see that I've preloaded this project with a breast cancer dataset. Now this is a simple generated dataset that is in Excel format. The first step is to navigate to Data Studio. So the first thing you'll need to do is create a new analysis. Once we click this button, you'll see many environment options that appear. We have Jupyter Lab Notebooks, which is a Python environment, RStudio, Galaxy, SAS, and more. Now for each one of these that you select, different options appear. So for the very first one I'm going to show you is RStudio. And you'll see we have options for environmental setup, where we can have custom environments with different versions of R. We can select an instance type if you know you'll be using a lot of RAM or memory. Attached storage, I usually don't change. And lastly, we have suspend time. So if you leave this running and say walk away from your desk space, it will automatically stop running after 30 minutes, and you can change this. So to proceed, we'll need to give this analysis a name. I'm going to call it RStudio Demo and click Start. You'll see that it starts initializing our instance space. This will take just a moment. Now, as you can see, this RStudio instance looks just like the RStudio you'd have on your local machine. It has all of the same features and functionality. There are multiple ways to navigate to our project files. The first one I'll show you is using the graphical user interface. So in this bottom right pane, what you'll do is click on the 3 dots to open up an additional menu. It'll ask which folder you'd like to go to, and from here, navigate to SB Genomics and click OK. Some additional options have now appeared. So all of the files in your CGC project will be located in project files. This is read-only, however. So when saving your files, you'll be saving to output files. So first I'll click on Project Files, and you'll see my breast cancer dataset. Now I can select this to view and import. I'll click Import. As you can see, this is a very typical dataset. We have some subjects that were randomly generated as well as measurements. And this is just for example purposes. So I'm going to click Import, and now we have our dataset. Okay, so once you've finished with whatever analysis you are interested in, it's time to save the file back into your project space on the CGC. As I mentioned earlier, the project files directory is read-only, so you'll be able to load files from this directory, but you can't save them back. Instead, we'll use output files here. So you'll need to write this data set in whatever format you want. You can use Excel or .csv and specify the name of the data frame and then the full file path, which is sbgenomics/output-files. Once you're ready, you'll stop your analysis by clicking on the Stop button in the top right corner. You can confirm, and it will save your instance. Great. From here, you can see a copy of your R history, your R data, as well as any output files. So again, if you navigate back to your Files tab, you'll see that we have saved an output here, breast cancer, and that's supposed to say copy. Some key takeaways from this video are: RStudio on the CGC allows you to perform analyses directly where your data is, using your preferred compute environment. RStudio on the CGC allows you to save outputs of analyses to your projects on the CGC. And lastly, RStudio works just as it does on your local machine, but with the tight integration to the CGC. Our next video in the module list is RStudio Jupyter Notebooks.